Coming up this morning on State of Events, new information comes out about the Saudi journalist who's been missing for almost a month.
A beef E. coli breakout has affected both restaurants and grocery stores around the U.S.
Welcome to State of Events. I'm Kendall Hogan.
And I'm Hannah Pack. Let's get to this week's top stories. San Francisco State University's 2018 Alumna of the Year is awarded to author Rebecca Solnit for her achievements post-graduation. Solnit graduated from SFSU in 1981 with a Bachelor of Arts degree in English Language and Literature. Since graduating, Solnit has written over 20 books and worked on numerous environmental and human rights campaigns, including the Western Shoshone Defense Project. Solnit's anthology of political essays, Call Them By Their True Names, is on the long list for the 2018 National Book Award. Esteban G. Burchard, Jinho Piper Ferreira, and Kitty Tsui are also being inducted into the SFSU Hall of Fame. San Francisco State's 24th Annual Alumni Hall of Fame induction will be celebrated on November 9th.
Saudi Arabia came forward with a public statement this weekend regarding Jamal Khashoggi, who's been missing for almost a month.
The Saudi Arabian government has now come forward and confirmed that journalist Jamal Khashoggi was killed while visiting the Turkish consulate in Saudi Arabia earlier this month. Khashoggi was missing for 2 weeks after entering the consulate to receive divorce papers. The Saudi Arabian government has claimed that Khashoggi died accidentally from a confrontation that ended in a brawl. According to the statement given out by the Saudi government, the people involved tried to cover up the incident by dismembering Khashoggi's body, but have still failed to bring forward his body or even say where it is. The Trump administration is hesitantly accepting the statement of events. However, many of the U.S.'s allies are very critical of the reasonings behind Khashoggi's death. German Chancellor Angela Merkel rejected the Saudi statement and says those responsible must be held accountable.
Parallels are being drawn between the sexual allegations brought forth before the Senate by Christine Blasey Ford against Brett Kavanaugh and a strikingly similar case in 1991 when Anita Hill accused Clarence Thomas of sexual harassment. Thomas was in the confirmation process when Hill came forward, saying she was continuously harassed and assaulted by Thomas while she worked for him in the Department of Justice's Civil Rights Division. Hill disclosed this information in a private FBI sit-down. However, she was then urged to bring this information forth in a formal testimony in front of the Senate. Similar to Ford's testimony last month, shadows of doubt and attempts to discredit Hill were thrown at her. Although both women came forward with accusations, both Kavanaugh and Thomas were confirmed by the Senate to become Supreme Court justices.
The East Coast is still recovering weeks after Hurricane Michael hit, leaving many towns in Florida and the Carolinas devastated.
36 people have now been confirmed dead after Hurricane Michael hit the southern coastal states last week. According to FEMA, Hurricane Michael became one of the strongest storms to ever make landfall in the continental U.S. The storm grew quickly to a Category 4 in hours, leaving destruction in its path. Mexico Beach, Florida was one of the hardest hit towns, where most homes have been completely wiped out. Recovery efforts are underway as the area is trying to rebuild the estimated $8 billion in damages.
Last month, the CDC investigated a multi-state E. coli outbreak. The infections are linked to ground beef from the company Cargill Meat Solutions and are all over the country. This outbreak has hospitalized over a dozen and is affecting both grocery stores and restaurants. And now ready-to-eat chicken products from the company Evolve Foods are being recalled after it was discovered that the products were contaminated by Salmonella and Listeria monocytogenes.
People all over the U.S. are buying up Mega Millions tickets just for a chance at this record-setting jackpot.
Your next number is 3, and your final wipe off for this Tuesday evening is 49. Now for the Mega Ball.
The Mega Millions jackpot has now reached an all-time world record for a lottery prize after there were no winners from this past Saturday night's drawing. The jackpot is now sitting at over $1.6 billion. And if a winning ticket is found, they will receive the cash option of $905 million. The next drawing is tonight at 8 p.m. Pacific time. giving you enough time to try your hand at becoming a multimillionaire.
We now introduce SF State correspondent Isabel Cabral, who has the inside scoop on elections coming up next month.
Election day is quickly approaching. On November 6th, California voters will elect new officials and instate new propositions. The candidates for California governor are Republican John H. Cox and Democrat Gavin Newsom, who's California's current lieutenant governor. This election's candidates for lieutenant governor are Democrats Eleni Konalakis and Ed Hernandez. The candidates for this role, Republican Mark Muser and current Secretary of State, Democrat Alex Padilla. There are 12 propositions to vote on. Among those 12 include Prop 4, which plans on authorizing bonds and fund construction at hospitals providing children's health care. A yes on Proposition 4 would allow the state to sell $1.5 billion in general obligation bonds for construction, expansion, renovation, and equip certain hospitals that treat children. Prop 6 eliminates specific road repairs and transportation funding. Voting yes on Prop 6 would mean that fuel and vehicle taxes recently passed by legislature would no longer be in place and consequently would reduce funding in highways, roads, transit programs. Proposition 7 would allow legislature to change the daylight savings time period. Please don't forget to vote. Back to you, Kendall.
Thanks, Isabel. More in the November elections. One state's midterm election may mark the beginning of a political shift in the South.
We are a country that lives up to our best traditions and our best interests.
Beto O'Rourke, the 38-year-old U.S. representative in the state of Texas, is challenging the social norms of the South.
At this moment of truth for our country are showing up in great numbers, not divided by party affiliation or geography or any other small difference. It's all about coming together.
He's the nominee for the Democratic Party in the 2018 Texas U.S. Senate race and is running against the current Republican seat holder, Ted Cruz.
Not showing up in Texas. If he's not showing up in D.C. to vote, who is he showing up for?
Although being a Democrat in a mostly red state, O'Rourke, the young congressman from El Paso, Texas, has gained quite a following due to his progressive ideals and outlook on human rights. He supports tougher background checks for guns, legalization of marijuana, and is a proponent against Trump's border wall. A shift already began when President Donald Trump won the state by a mere 9 points in his 2016 election campaign. O'Rourke has also raised $61 million in fundraising compared to Cruz's $25 million.
We got to win this and win this the right way.
O'Rourke winning the Senate seat in Texas would be the first time a Democrat has been elected to a statewide position since 1994.
I think Texas, with this proud tradition of gun ownership and gun safety, can actually take the lead on these issues.
Early voting began yesterday, and the polls will open next Tuesday, November 6th.
Coming up on State of Events, an update on the 3-week-long Marriott hotel strikes.
And later, we take a look at the food trucks here on the San Francisco State campus. We will be right back.
I saw a sleeping bear, a grizzly bear. It was sleeping behind a tree, and I saw a real coyote. Even though the planet's spinning, you can't see it spinning. Recycle things like boxes or something. And water helps the environment so everything can live. No waterfish could not live. I've been in the ocean. Or the beach. When I go to my grandma and grandpa's house, I can walk. Nothing would get water in our whole land. Throwing things away and using them again. The scraps we can make up. I like the planet. My future is now. My future is now. My future is now. My future is now. My future is now.
Welcome back to State of Events. We will now toss things over to SF City reporter Alexis Gonzalez.
San Francisco District Attorney George Gascon announced that he will not be seeking re-election. The district attorney, who was considered one of the most progressive attorneys of San Francisco, has decided to step down after serving 8 years. In an email sent out by campaign consultant Dan Newman, Gascon states how his family obligations have made him reconsider running for a third term. In the email, Gascon took the time to thank everyone who worked along his side and fought for change in the justice system, both at local and state levels. Gascon's term will not end until the end of 2019, and he has announced that he will support whoever the voting people of San Francisco choose to take on his role. Currently in the running is Assistant Chief Legal Counsel in the Sheriff's Department, Susie Loftus. She was also the former president of the Police Commission, and sources say that she has Mayor London Breed's endorsement. The fight for livable wages persists as hotel workers continue to strike outside of 7 different Marriott Marquis locations in San Francisco. The hotel strike in San Francisco began on October 4th when 2,300 workers walked out of their jobs at 7 Marriott Marquis hotels in the city. Strikers who are fighting for livable wages, job security, affordable health care, and safe workloads are tired of having to work more than one job to survive. I recently had the opportunity to speak with Elena Duran, a server who has been working with the Marriott hotels for more than 28 years, about why the strike is so important to them.
He's saying that one job should be enough. That means we can work only one job and we'll be able to support our family, pay our bills, pay our rent.
Elena also talked about how the strike was absolutely necessary due to the simple fact that workers did not feel like they were being treated fairly.
Rents are going up, the groceries are going up, everything is going up, and our salary doesn't go up that much.
As of now, a Marriott spokesperson was only commented about the many job opportunities that the hotel has provided in the past, but they have not commented on any possible solutions for the strike. For State of Events, Alexis Gonzalez. The San Francisco Unified School District may change the lottery system that for years has determined a student's placement. Some of the San Francisco Unified School District board members have made a proposal to change the lottery system into community-based assignments. For years, parents have had to enter their children into a school lottery system that basically determines which school their child could attend. Although the system has worked for some people in the past, San Francisco board member and supervisor candidate for District 6, Matt Haney, has talked about how the lottery system has not provided equity and choice. He believes that parents should know that they can count on a school that is close to their community. The board has also stated that if the proposal were to pass, it would be years before the lottery system was completely removed. In an effort to curb underage use, the FDA conducted a raid at the Juul headquarters in San Francisco. The FDA has become increasingly concerned with the popularity of these devices in high schools, despite the age limits. The raid on Friday was announced on site inspection, seizing over 1,000 pages of documents. The city of San Francisco is throwing their last block party of the year in the Civic Center Plaza on Sunday, November 4th, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., a free event for everyone in the family. The block party brings everything together from food trucks and live music performances to a roller skating and fun playgrounds. This year, the common new attraction is the art installation Invisible Man and the Mask of Blackness. 40 identical sculptures fabricated from design and graphics installment in front of City Hall. For more information about the event, visit the civiccentercommons.org.
Thank you, Alexis. The Pacific Gas and Electric Company is installing a smoke-detecting surveillance system in the North Bay. Following last year's destructive fires, PG&E has purchased 9 cameras to detect smoke in Napa, Marin, and Sonoma counties. Marin Fire Department Deputy Fire Chief Mark Brown made a statement regarding the camera. The camera saying we can zoom in on a fire, we can evaluate what the smoke is doing, if there is no smoke at all, and that will give us better intelligence to help us be more efficient in our firefighting. These new cameras are expected to be installed by the end of this year.
180 claims of sexual assault have been filed in California, Florida, and New Jersey regarding company employees from Massage Envy. Massage Envy has more than 1,100 locations nationwide. In California, the lawsuit started with 5 victims, and now there is more than 30 women who claim they were inappropriately touched by massage therapists. The lawsuit was filed a few months ago in San Mateo County. The company is facing charges for hiding complaints and allowing the therapists involved to remain employed without proper investigation. The investigators tried to speak with the corporate office as well as the Alameda and Burlingame locations, but everyone refused to answer questions.
While the San Francisco State University campus offers food variety and different options, some students want some more options.
Monday through Friday from 11 until 2, 1 to 2 food trucks feed the San Francisco State community. SFSU food truck coordinator Aaron Wills says the school coordinates with the trucks to come sell food for 3 hours. Some trucks have a recurring schedule, while others come once or twice. You can find out what food trucks are coming each week by visiting ucorp.sfsu.edu/food trucks. The trucks are located between the Science Building and Hensel Hall.
Every Monday from 12:30 to 3 p.m., the Associated Students host a pop-up food pantry to provide students that suffer from food insecurities with fresh produce and canned food. It's located in the Annex Building, and any San Francisco State student with an ID can sign up. This fall, they have expanded and opened Gator's Groceries. They offer a supplementary dry goods and snacks every Wednesday and Thursday from 1 to 7 at Cesar Chavez Student Services near Jack Adams Hall.
For those students that dream to travel the world while going to school still but can't afford it, San Francisco State University is your best bet because for the second year in a row, San Francisco State is #1 in the nation for the most study abroad Gilman scholarships.
Cameron Freeman is a junior student at SF State. He returned home this summer after his 1-year study abroad in Spain, where he studied television and video production. In 1 year alone, Cameron visited 3 continents, 20 countries, and 90 cities.
Study abroad was unbelievable. We see things on TV and read things on the internet, but I feel like you can't really truly understand something until you're there.
With San Francisco State, you can study abroad in 30 different countries throughout the world, in every academic discipline, for 1 semester or for an entire school year.
The deadline to apply for fall 2019 is February 1st. Visit the Office of International Programs or Study Abroad at sfsu.edu to learn more about study abroad programs and scholarships.
Next on State of Events, we take a look at how our Gators sports teams did this week.
And later, we discuss the pay gap between male and female athletes. More on that next.
Welcome back to State of Events. We now introduce our sports reporter, Ashley Stevens.
Thanks, guys. Both men's and women's soccer have sealed their tickets to the playoffs. Both teams have been showing out this season. Over the weekend, the men's soccer team defeated Chico State 1-0 in overtime on Senior Day. The men's team will be looking to redeem themselves after making playoffs last season. They have a bye week coming up as the rest of the league will play for their playoff spot. As for the women's soccer team, they handed Chico State their first loss of the season on Senior Day. The women's team will be waiting to see how the rest of the league faces off against one another as they hope to earn home field advantage. The first round of the CCA championship will take place on Tuesday, October 30th. Former USA Gymnastics president Steve Penny was arrested last week in relation to tampering with evidence in the Larry Nassar sexual assault case. The indictment claims Penny ordered the removal of the documents from the Caroli Ranch in Walker County, Texas, with, quote, the purpose of impairing the ongoing investigation by destroying or hiding the document. He currently is released on a $25,000 bail. Warriors forward Patrick McCaw has yet to have a meeting with the defending champs as he declined his recent contract offer of $2.5 million with a second-year player option of $2.7 million. The Warriors have had 3 regular season games without a word from the 22-year-old guard. McCaw will be a free agent come next spring, and he has yet to comment on the situation. Golden State has no timetable on a resolution to the contract offered, but general manager Bob Myers recently reported he hopes McCaw will be a part of the team. I had the pleasure of catching up with Natasha Smith, the new women's basketball coach for the 2018 season.
There's a new face in the locker room as the San Francisco State women's basketball team looks to a new leader in head coach Natasha Smith. As a player of the game, Coach Smith pursued her passion after her career.
It's kind of hit me because I was just a student of the game, and it's what I loved more than anything.
Her player mentality also showcases how she coaches.
Like, we want to focus on winning the day. So if we do that, we're getting better each day, while the other teams, they already know their identity, and they're going to do things the way that they've always done it.
Their team chemistry also shapes how they perform on the court.
I kind of nipped it in the bud early. Like, no one's talking about San Francisco State women's basketball, and that's actually worse than being an underdog. Now is your time to prove yourself.
The women's basketball team has not had a winning season since 2004, but Coach Smith is looking to change the culture in San Francisco. For State of Events, I'm Ashley Stevens.
Closing the gender wage gap in society has been a topic of conversation recently. However, now it's being brought up in the world of sports.
He's going to join the Los Angeles Lakers. He's signing a 4-year deal worth $154 million.
A reaction on Twitter by WNBA player Asia Wilson.
And it'll be an and one for Asia Wilson.
Regarding LeBron James's new $154 million contract with the Los Angeles Lakers, has started a conversation about the major pay gap difference in the world of basketball.
With the first pick in the 2018 WNBA draft, the Las Vegas Aces select Asia Wilson.
Wilson was drafted first overall by the Las Vegas Aces in the 2018 WNBA draft. Her starting salary will be $52,564. However, her male counterpart in the NBA, DeAndre Ayton, will be making $6.8 million this year playing for the Phoenix Suns. Regarding LeBron James's new contract with the Lakers, Wilson tweeted, $154 million must be nice. We over here looking for an M, but Lord, let me get back in my lane. The tweet started a conversation, one that was touched upon by NBA stars such as Stephen Curry and Isaiah Thomas. Curry and Thomas both wrote articles in the Players Tribune addressing the disparity in women's sports as well as addressing the obvious pay gap. Not only is this pay differential seen in the world of basketball, it is also a conversation regarding the U.S. women's national soccer team.
Big rebound! 1-0 U.S.
We've proven our worth over the years, just coming off of a World Cup win, and the pay disparity between the men and women is just too large. And
although not much has changed in how female athletes are paid, the conversation has begun, people are beginning to take notice, and differences will hopefully come in the near future.
Coming up soon on State of Events, a popular pop-up museum is making San Francisco home.
And we have an exciting British royalty announcement. That and more brought to you by our entertainment correspondents, Jessica and Gianni. Coming up next.
Welcome back with your entertainment reporters. I'm Jessica Murray.
And I'm Gianni Bagnarello, and we have some hot topics to discuss this week.
The Museum of Ice Cream, a San Francisco favorite, will have a permanent home in SF. The museum, which started as a temporary pop-up, receives 500,000 visitors from over 65 countries and will unveil brand new exhibits in the 2019 year.
Last week, Ariana Grande and Pete Davidson officially called it quits. The pair announced their engagement back in June after only a few weeks of dating. Ariana will keep the New York apartment she had purchased for both of them, and as well their pet pig, Piggy Smalls. Pete will keep their $100,000 engagement ring, and both of them will walk away with the multitude of tattoos they got together.
That's it for this week's State of Events. I'm Jessica Murray.
And I'm Gianni Bagnarello. See you next week.